Hey guys, it's me, Sujoy over here. Today I'm back with another video, and I'm going to be talking about is Vietnam going cashless by 2024. So what do I mean by this? Is Vietnam going to stop using, the Vietnam dong money, physical money, by 2024? And I just want to give you a quick answer. The way I see it, I think it would be yes. Okay. But before I continue, I just want you to meet my new friend. Okay. So I don't know if you can see him. All right. So it looks just like me. So maybe I think I'll call him Orby. But if you have a name for him, just write it down in the comment section below. And let me just grab a little bit of coffee. All right, so I just took down a couple of my suggestions. Just to let you know that I worked in business development before, and I worked with an IT software security solutions company, which is a Hong Kong-based company. I worked for 1 year, and primarily I was focusing into software security solutions, especially for for financial transactions. So I may like to put in a couple of my suggestions. So like if because I know that Vietnam right now is having is going through a huge digital transformation drive. Whatever I'm reading in the news, a lot of digitalization is happening over here in Vietnam, and of course, the talk about the cashless economy in Vietnam. So I thought of sharing a couple of my suggestions and ideas. I hope that the ministry can take up some of the ideas which I'm sharing out here. So so let's just talk about the cashless economy. So now we know that the new generation Y, the young, I've been living here for 5 years now, but what I see the trend right now is more and more young Vietnamese people are actually opting for cashless transactions. So if they're going to a supermarket, they are scanning the QR code with their smartphones, or take example the e-commerce sector, which is a very big industry out here in Vietnam. E-commerce is booming a lot over here in Vietnam right now. So I personally don't shop anything by going to the malls. I always go to Lazada, and I always shop online. So there are a lot of payment facilities which are being provided by these e-commerce companies, like from Lazada, cashless payments like PayU, Momo. I don't know, is that Momo or something? But, and of course, if you're doing a cashless transaction, you're going to get more discounts if you're going to shop from an e-commerce site. And even like if you're booking hotels from booking.com or Agoda, if you're doing a cashless transaction, you will be getting more discounts for your stay compared to a cash transaction. So, I'm coming from India, and people back home in my country, we use a lot of cashless transaction, and that boomed a lot, especially when COVID hit. Even little mom and pop stores, like I could see people back home, they would just use their smartphone, scan the QR code, and they can buy even a can of soda or a Coke or whatever, a little stuff. So let's just get on with it. So definitely, my projection for Vietnam for the cashless transaction would be, I see a reduction in cash transaction by 40 to 50% by 2024 here in Vietnam. So more and more people will start using digital payments. Less going to the ATMs, putting the cards in and taking out money. I believe a cashless transaction is better because it involves less theft, and because if you're not keeping any money with you in your pocket, they're not going to steal from you. And of course, you feel a bit more relaxed. It's like a more relaxing environment. You feel different when you're actually transacting, when you're doing a cashless transaction compared to keeping a bag full of money in your wallet and always, worried about, if it's going to be stolen or not. So I also see that by 2024, 85% of the Vietnam population will have digital bank accounts. Okay. Now, what I mean by digital bank account is that you don't have to go physically to the bank. You can just, sit with your computer or sit with your smartphone and you can open a bank account. I believe in South Korea, you can open an online bank account with your smartphone, so you can do that. So this is my projection for 2024 here in Vietnam. So let's talk about digital transactions a bit. The user to user. Okay, so we know that, there are a lot of overseas Vietnamese. They go to different countries, they work there, like, there are a lot of Vietnamese, traveling to Middle East, other parts of Southeast Asia, like Malaysia, Singapore, or even the States, so they will be able to remit money easily, using, online digital cash remittance apps, so they don't have to go to Western Union and, put in the money, or they don't need to go to MoneyGram. So it's just like with the click of their smartphone, they can transfer their remittance money back to their loved ones. Taking loans would be a bit more easier, like user to user. So say, for example, if you want to take a bank loan, it can be done online. Within a matter of 5 minutes, you can get your loan, provided you have a good credit check. I don't know if that's out here in Vietnam or not. Based on the kind of credit check you have, you'll get the loan, or if you have a stable job with an income, you can get 3 times the salary more or 30 times the salary more. But more personal user-to-user loans, using smartphones. So say, for example, if one shop owner wants to take some loan from his or her friend or something, so with the click of the smartphone, you can transfer the money. So it'll be like very digitalized. Everything will be very digital. Okay. I also feel that Vietnam needs to work very closely with India, for online transaction, for more cashless payment facilities, because the thing right now in India, which I've been seeing, is that a lot of people are doing a lot of cashless transactions, and of course, the implementation of the digital rupee, which is our Indian currency, is being implemented, and there will be and very soon the Indian rupee will not be pegged to the dollar. So that'll be a complete game changer. It's expected by 2024. So I'm going to get back to that also for Vietnam. Right. So I told you I was in the biometrics. I work with a Hong Kong-based company. What I can see is that, like, I'm very impressed with TP Bank. I like to do a lot of transactions with TP Bank, especially their state-of-the-art ATM machine, where I believe you can even communicate with the bank teller. They have a screen. So I think more and more banks here in Vietnam, they should incorporate that kind of system, like what TP Bank is doing. So like I said, I was in the biometrics. So like if Vietnamese people are having digital bank accounts over here, they can just walk up to any ATM, scan their fingerprint, or just have a biometric eye scan or a facial recognition technology, so that it's an authorized, verified user who is without putting in any cards, without punching in any ATM pins, and straight away can just can do some cashless transaction or even take out money. So this is just a suggestion which I can give to which I can give to major banks out here in Vietnam, especially ACB Bank, Sacom Bank, MCB, BIDV. So these kind of banks, they can actually work on these kind of facilities, the biometrics, and of course the fingerprint scan, also facial recognition technology, and also the eye retina scan. Okay. So now coming back to the digital currency, like most foreigners, when they come to Vietnam, they feel like, okay, I'm coming with US dollars, I'm going to change it, and I'm going to be like a millionaire. And even same thing in India also, like when people are coming with US dollars, going to the exchange rates, taking a lot of money, it's all right. But, the problem is that most of Southeast Asia and most Asian countries, like we're pegged to the US dollar, because I think there's going to be a game changer right now, because like especially if you're doing import export transactions, your local currency is always pegged to the US dollar. So there are it becomes more expensive, and there are more complications when you're doing import export transactions. So I think by 2023, end of 2023, Vietnam should definitely should come up with their own digital VND, Vietnam Dong, okay, digital VND. Like we have the digital rupee, so I believe that Vietnam should definitely come out with the digital VND. So this is going to be actually more beneficial. Sorry. It's going to be more beneficial when ASEAN countries are going to be doing import export with Vietnam and also other parts of Asia. So it will, so you're basically, you don't need to be pegged with the dollar, okay? And it's not going to be very long. So I believe by 2024, Vietnam should have its own digital VND, okay, and also Vietnam should focus on coming up with their with their own crypto, okay, which should be more globalized, okay. All right, so I talked about the biometric print, eye retina scan, and even of course, like when you're going to a lot of restaurants and bars over here in District 1 and all that. What happens, like what I saw in India is that, like on the table you have a QR code sticker, so just basically you scan the QR code, you can check the full menu, and even you can make the payment online, so basically you're avoiding complete cash transactions. So it'll be better to see more QR code scans, especially even if you're using public transportations here in Vietnam. Say you're going to be using the metro in Ho Chi Minh, the public bus transport, just scan the QR code, or so that's going to be definitely a big game changer. And I believe Aeon Shopping Mall, they have this facility over here in they have the VN Pay. Some other major banks over here in Vietnam, like Sacom Bank, ATM, Techcom Bank, so they should come up with these kind of digital transaction payments, especially if you're going to the stores. I have been to a few stores over here in Vietnam where it's like a self checkout. You don't have the cash lady, so you just scan the stuff and just put the card in and just you complete the transaction. So yeah, so it'll be better to have more self checkouts, especially if you're buying groceries in supermarkets, like Co-op Mart, Big C. So yeah, I mean, so that's all I got to say, So I'm just going to keep this video short. So yeah, I do see that a lot of digital transformation happening over here in Vietnam. The government is heavily is heavily investing in a digitalized economy here in Vietnam. So so these are a couple of my suggestions. I'm also going to leave a link down of of an article from Vietnam News, down in the description below about Vietnam going cashless. So yeah, definitely having a cashless economy is very useful. And of course, I also want to stress that Vietnam should come up with their own digital BND, which will be helpful for other ASEAN countries to do transactions with Vietnam, and also for other Asian countries. So because dollar is not the king, okay, and it's not, and we're not going to be pegged to the dollar for long. So it's time that individual countries who have a robust economy and emerging economies, fast growing economies, they should definitely come up with their own digital currencies. And it'll be also better for travelers from these emerging countries to travel in other parts of the country, knowing that their currency is not pegged to the dollar, and so they can even enjoy a stress-free travel. So that's all I got to say. And so with that being said, you guys have a great day. This was BC Joy. Peace out.